I went Saturday comic book hunting, and I had a choice of where was I going to go first, and I made the wrong decision and potentially missed a huge book. I did, though, come home with more than a short box full of comic books. Let's see what I got. Up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe. Check out the description of this video for links to my eBay store, my whatnot, my Instagram, and my other thing. Email. Yeah, that's the other one. So, it was Saturday morning. It was a beautiful morning. And actually, it was, I guess, my first day of retirement. I retired on Friday, so Saturday, I mean, maybe it was Monday. Depends on how you look at it. But I decided to go comic book hunting. And I looked up some things on the interwebs, and I did find an estate sale in northern New Jersey, which wasn't far from the Meadowlands. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get up early, really early, go to Meadowlands first thing, and then go to the estate sale. But the snooze alarm had other ideas, and I ended up heading out a little bit later. So I figured, okay, by the time I get there, I get to the estate sale maybe an hour early, see what it is, because the pictures looked very promising. Silver Age stuff, always, but I should have been wearing, there were also like sports cards and stuff. At any rate, I get there and I see a couple of other guys. One guy I recognize from different shows and stuff. And then there was a list there. So I was fifth on the list. And it was I got there at like 8:05. So I was chatting with the other guys. And then, we're talking about, does it look promising? Do you think what they have? And that kind of thing. And then the guy comes out and I recognized him. And so did at least one other person. Because I had gone to a yard sale, estate sale, at another house, maybe even in the same town last spring. And I got a few books at that point. It was like one of those days. I think it was during, did I have time off during finals week? And I just went. It wasn't far from where I worked. And so I did get a Batman 251. Got it graded. It wasn't an upgrade. Kind of broke even on the book. So I saw him. I'm like, oh, this is what he's going to have. And sure enough, it was the same stuff, and it was overpriced. So they said, okay, we'll let 5 in at a time, because they had the driveway kind of roped off. So the 5 of us who had been talking about comics and cards and stuff went in, and nobody bought anything, right? The prices were too high. There was like a Marvel Superheroes 20, that classic Doctor Doom cover that was there, that was like $300. I saw, comic there for 70 that, like, it was in pretty high grade. I mean, maybe it's 50. So it was at least like 50% above what, you can get for a decent deal at a show, right? So after like looking through the stuff for about 5 minutes, maybe 10 tops, I decided to leave and I headed to the Meadowlands. And that's where the sad part of the story comes in, because this was just me wasting an hour of my time or so. So I had to go to a lot of back roads. I probably would have gotten to the Meadowlands quicker, even though it was further south. Any rate, let's take a look at... so I went to the first vendor that I went to. He had like a bunch of stuff, and he just had a pile of comics on a chair. So there was a lot of Miles Morales, the Ultimate Spider-Man, and one of these is a variant cover. I forget which one it is. It's issue number 3, issue number 12, issue number 4. This one is, this is, I think, the second print of issue number 2. There was no issue number 1. And then there were also a couple of Who's Who's. Now, these Who's Who's I pick up when I get them for like $1, because they have Dave Stevens artwork inside. He did 3 characters character pages. He did the Golden Age Catwoman in this issue. He did Dolphin in this issue, and he also did Phantom Lady in a later issue. So that was the first guy. Now, I always talk about save, sell, slab, spec. I will point out anything that's going to slab, spec, or save. Marvel Team Up 68 with Man-Thing. Also the first appearance of Despair. Are we getting Despair in the MCU? I don't think so. Marvel Age number 12. Preview of Secret Wars. This was a different vendor. These were, I think, maybe $2, $2.50 a piece. I don't know. All-Star Squadron 25, First Infinity Inc. Oh, that's right. He had $3 books and $5 books. And this is where the sad part of the story comes in. Because there was a lot of like late 80s, 90s stuff. And so I was going through the boxes, and this guy that I know, Seaman Street said Anthony's a lot. Ray was there, and he says, yeah, I don't know if he had seen it or he just heard it, but the way that the legend goes is that somebody found in these boxes, because it was just like, there were shopping bags. The books in the shopping bags were $5. There was a lot of them that were kind of water damaged, and the books in the long boxes were $3. But as legend has it, that somebody found a copy for $5 of Amazing Spider-Man 300. It wasn't me. Now, if I had gone to the Meadowlands first, would I have gotten there? Not necessarily, because you can't be everywhere, right? What you want to be is the one that's there when they put the stuff out fresh, the brand new stuff. But even then, like if there's 8 long boxes, you could start in the first one, and the 7th one has some crazy key, and somebody else got to that. Anyway, I did get this. This is a pretty good book for the price it was. Avengers Annual 2. Captain America 332, First John Walker. This is a popular book at the moment. Secret Origins 14. First appearance of Rick Flag. Which one is it? Senior or Junior? I think it's the first appearance of Senior. And then there were like things I had to complete for multiples. I got an Avengers 138. 2099 Unlimited number 1. First Hulk 2099. X-Men 53. First Onslaught. There's a 25-cent Iron Man. That's a more mid-grade. What else do we got? Yeah, this was all from that particular vendor. Yep, there we go. X-Men 400. I picked up some Invaders keys. I don't know the Invaders keys as well as I should. Issue number 2. Marvel Age 134 with Beavis and Butthead. Green Lantern 50, First Parallax. This is, I'm going to keep in the PC. I'm trying to work on these runs like in dollar bins and stuff. Young Avengers, number 5. I think this is volume 1. Don't hold me to that. Spider-Boy. I keep picking this up. I know it was like when the other Spider-Boy was a thing, this became hot, but it's still one of the better amalgam books. Uncanny X-Men. This is 327, first appearance of Joseph, the clone of Magneto. Wolverine Origin, number 1. This was a good one. Deadpool, Circle Chase, number 1. His first solo book. Hulk 228, first Moonstone, the Carla Sofin version. This, I think, is the Scarlet Scarab's first appearance in Invaders 23. Just an early Marvel team-up, issue number 11. Fantastic Four 185, first Nicholas Scratch. Thor 246. I think this is a second Firelord, or it's just a classic Firelord Thor book. ASM 186. It's a sub 200 ASM. Avengers 131 with the Night of the Unliving, or the Legion of the Unliving. The Return of Wonder Man and stuff. Invaders number 20. This is the first appearance of the second Union Jack. Invaders number 32. A Hitler cover with Thor under the control of Hitler. Marvel Team Up number 12 with Spider-Man and Wolverine. Amazing Spider-Man 184. This is a book. There is a variant, a very rare variant of this, which was like a giveaway. I don't know if he had a mail away or something with Cheer laundry detergent. Was it Cheer? I think it was Cheer. That's worth a considerable amount of money. So always kind of I that's one of those covers that I memorize and kind of like will will pivot to that. Always take a look. Then I picked up one of the regular vendors there. He had, and he often has older books. It's very hit or miss, and he had some older books here. And he was a little coy about pricing. He'd say about $5 a piece if you pick up more. So I picked up a stack of 70 books from him, and he charged me $2.75, so just under $4 a book, and a lot of genre books in here. So I like to get the westerns, the war, the romance, etc. So when I do theme nights, I have inventory, and people don't. I mean, if it's not superhero stuff, it doesn't move as quickly. So you can probably get it for a better deal. I picked up this. This is low grade, cover detached and split. It's Wonder Woman 155, but for $4, and it has Wonder Girl and Wonder Tot, who are just younger versions of herself. That's really weird. You would, they showed up to their marriage, whatever. Some Charlton Romance, Secret Romance 27. Tales of the Teen Titans 43, first appearance of Joseph Wilson. I do have to make note. I think I do. I don't think this is an upgrade. This is a 72 book. Falling in Love, DC Romance. Love Diary 119 from Charlton. For Lovers Only. 87 for Lovers Only. 79, and these I looked, as long as they look to be in decent shape, so these are like in the 4 to 6 range, most of them. For Lovers Only. 71. Most of the romance books are from the 70s, and then there were a bunch of war books from the 60s. Our Army at War number 204. GI Combat 147. Then there was some superhero stuff. Adam 23, Adam 21. This is a pretty nice copy. Our Army at War 231 and 226. Star Spangled War Stories 139. Our Army of War, the 25-cent 80-page giant. This is issue number 190. GI Combat 134. Our Fighting Forces 108. Now, this book I have to check. There are 2 books. This is Captain Storm number 15. And I didn't take a close look at it when I for all of these, I had to count the pages and check for coupons and all that sort of stuff. But this, if it is what it is, yep. So this is Captain Storm number 15. This was a bi-monthly title, that checkerboard logo. But it says here October, but on the indicia it says September, October of 1966. So this allows me, ooh, that's a little musty, to very passively grab books for my birth month, September 66. So it's lower grade, but it's not a cornerstone of my collection. What else we got? Our Army at War 218. This was interesting. This might be the only one from the flea market, I think. Incredible Hulk and Wolverine number 1. This is a minty copy. This is going into the slab pile. Aquaman 36. Then there was Thunderbolt. I think this is issue 55. I have to take a look because these Charlton issue numbers are so incredibly tiny. Does that work? There we go. For somehow I was getting an echo on myself. I gotta go. Oh, I know which one. Okay, this is issue 55. Charlton War, Fighting Army. 72. Well, that goes up here. I'm throwing the superhero stuff down below because that's just going to go for sale. The war books I put in a special place in storage. Number 80, All American Men of War 117. This, like the Captain Storm, is September-October book of 62. Star Spangled War 152. GI Combat 135. Army War Heroes number... let me get a... put a sticker on this one so that I know the issue number. This is issue number 11. Alrighty. Our Fighting Forces 124. GI Combat 133 with the Haunted Tank. Yeah, and this is good because, you know, these are books that you don't see too often. And not a lot of people collect it, but there are people who do collect. You know, they want their Silver Age war. Our Army at War 205. 184. I picked this up. I would have thought it would have had more. Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commando 65. Eric Koenig Traeger with the Nazi on the cover. All American Men of War 108. Fighting Army 85. Army War Heroes 37. Fighting Marines 76. Our Army at War 221. 148. A Western. I think this was the only one. Rawhide Kid 62. Our Army at War 189. Back to Romance. Just Married 107. And I think this is the last issue, 113. I grabbed a lot of these books. Quite a few. You know? GI Combat 121. GI Combat 129. Again, these have some cool covers. This is Thunderbolt number 58. This might be a PC upgrade. So that's going to go over there. GI Combat 112. Our Fighting Forces 115. Adam number 34. And a Batman. Can't pass up Bronze Age Batman. 328. Just Married 114. Secret Romance 41. Secret Romance 42. Love Diary 94. Love Diary 100. Fortunately, I have some pen mark around the trade dress. Some little girl did that. Love Diary 101. Young Brides number 6. It's an interesting cover. Young Brides number 8. And number 9. Teen Confessions 93. I mean, these Charlton romance books ran forever. Teen Confessions 89. It's a weird cover. I think I have 2 copies of this. Just Married 114. Secret Romance 38. Secret Romance 39. That's a cool cover. Very, very 60s. Flower Power. Teen Confessions 97. I've got a lot of these books. I Love You 119. I Love You 120. Time for Love 42. Okay. Secret Wars 12 newsstand. Question number 1. These I'm keeping. These are like just back to back, so I got both of them. Tales of the Bean World 1 and 2. Top Cat. Now, this is issue number... I got to put a sticker on this one, too. Yeah, these gold keys never had... This is issue number 7. And sometimes with them, especially the TV adaptations, you have to be careful because they did reuse cover art. So you have like issues 1 and 11 have the same cover. You think you have issue 1, but you have issue 11. Then I got, was it this vendor? Yeah. Transformers 12 in a newsstand. Transformers 32. Transformers 31. Thor 440 first Thor Core. It's a little bit lower grade. Transformers, the movie. And I picked these up just because it was cheap. Spider-Man 2099. It's got some spine ticks. And Punisher War Journal number 7. And I think that does it for the Meadowlands. Let me just... Is this all? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I believe so. So then I went to Street Side Anthony's. And I've been running around. Last weekend I was doing comic hunting as well. And I got a lot of... I went to a lot of places. And usually, especially when I'm in New Jersey, like at the Meadowlands, I'll stop by Anthony's on the way home. It's pretty much on the way home. You know? I mean, a little bit out of the way, but I'm going across the George Washington Bridge into the Bronx anyway. So last week when I got there, fun fact, he was just closing up. He was done for the day. And he was taking a Lone Wolf. And if you're in the area, I'm setting up a show that they're doing. A Lone Wolf and Street Side are running on November 1st, Saturday, November 1st. At any rate, he goes, oh, we're finishing up. I got to drive him home. So he says, you know what? He come into the basement. He shows me, like, you know, the boxes he had for sale. He said, take whatever you want. Just put it in this box and lock up behind yourself. So, okay, cool. I bought a few books. I got a Web of Spider-Man 36, First Tombstone. That's like the hot book of the week right now. Then I grabbed this Incredible Hulk. This is issue 441 with that Pulp Fiction homage. That is a slab candidate. I think this is too... I already have a 9.8 of this. Marvel and DC present X-Men New Teen Titans. I grabbed this. I don't grab... X-Men number 193, more of a spec slab. This is a really sharp copy. This is the first in-continuity appearance of Firestar. Spider-Man number 1, newsstand. That's come down in value a little bit. This is going to go in the spec pile. This is first issue special number 5 with Manhunter. My outside chance theory is that Manhunter is going to be in the Lanterns TV show. Manhunters were what the Guardians of the Galaxy created, these robots. And then the robots programming turned against the Guardians, and then they had to get rid of them and use the Green Lantern Corps. Anyway, so that's going to go in the spec pile. Then I grabbed this. Some of these need tape. G.I. Joe 100. I thought it was sharper than it actually was, but whatever. And then this one also, this is not the first print. The first print was by Spire Christian Comics. This is later by Barber Christian Comics. This is The Cross and the Switchblade. This was a movie from 1972, I believe it was, starring Pat Boone and Eric Estrada. And they adapted it into a comic book. So that's PC. I just kind of always wanted that. Then I went back, and I'll go through these quick, because he said, I got a bunch of these Disney and Looney Tunes stuff. So I picked up the stuff that was in nicer shape. Again, for, you know, theme show. 4-color 725 with Elmer Fudd. I got to put numbers on these. Bugs Bunny number 42. Actually, I've written the tape in the back. This is early. This is 4-color 408. This is lower grade, cover detached. I think this is a Barks. Then we have Donald Duck number 31. Let me just put these here. Looney Tunes 143. Looney Tunes 205. Chip and Dale number 9. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories 290. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories. This is issue number 174. New Funnies, number 194. Bugs Bunny, number 46. Cool Christmas cover there. Bugs Bunny, number 45. Bugs Bunny, number 67. Looney Tunes, actually, it's called Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies, number 210. Walt Disney's Comics and Stories 152 and 169 and 211. Okay, so that does it for those. So I really was digging through the boxes, and you know, you go there, like I've always said, I'm hanging out, you're chatting, but I'm hunting for comics, and I'm able to look through and kind of take them out of the bag and board. You always ask permission. And then in the sunlight, you can see the defects a little bit better. So I'm hunting for 9/8 candidates. So I got other stuff as well. I got some cool stuff. This, I just like the cover. Betty and Veronica, number 3. Adam Hughes, he did the interior art too. It's crazy. So that's going to go in an Archie theme night. Then I really like this cover. This is a thick book. It's Amazing Spider-Man 49. Scotty Young cover with Spidey and the Green Goblin. Then there were 3. I'm going to put these 3 together because they're all related. Now, when I do these CGC census count videos, that's why I picked up Bean World. That's why I picked up The Cross and the Switchblade. I find I'll have a book that I'm showing, but I don't know much about it. So this is going to give me the opportunity. These next 3 are all from 1986, and I just did, if you watched it, my 1986 CGC population report video. And I look at the top book from every indie publisher. So I took from, this is from Arrow Comics, Dead World number 1. These are all from 1986. And they're all going in the PC. At least I'm going to read them. From Harrier Comics is Red Fox number 1. Kind of a Red Sonja takeoff. And from, what company is this? I can't even read that. Anyway, it's issue number 1 of Samurai Penguin. Seems silly, but I want, you know, for a few bucks, it's worth it. Then I also picked up, this gets me closer to finishing the run. I'm not quite there yet, but Swamp Thing 16, this is post-Wrightson, and Swamp Thing 19. Then Masters of the Universe number 4, this anniversary border for Star. That's a 9/8 contender. Batman 497, Bane breaks Batman's back, but this is the 3rd printing, and you can tell the trade dress is a different color. This is a very sharp copy. And I would look through a lot of books there that I think this has a real good, does definitely need a press, but a real good shot at a 9/8, and that's Thundercats number 1. That would be great to get in a 9/8. Then I kind of picked this up. I thought it was cool. Like, it's so early. I'm going to keep it in the PC, at least for a little while. This is 4-Color Comics number 84. Remember, 4-Color was published several times a month. Went to over issue 1000. And this is the 2nd appearance of Flash Gordon in the series. He did first appear in the pulps. Amazing Spider-Man 298 newsstand. Probably not a 9/8 contender, but still has good value. 9.4, 9.6, even 9.2. Elvira's House of Mystery number 1. A little tougher because of the black and the thick cover. But that's cool. Another newsstand. This might be a little stretch, but I think it's worth it. Uncanny X-Men 212. This is worth a boatload of money in a 9/8. Static number 1. That is also a contender. This is not. I thought it was at first glance. Ms. Marvel 17. I think it's the 2nd cameo, Mystique. And then that was wrapped up, and I was ready to leave, and Anthony takes out a book that he found, but he couldn't find comps. So I gave him comps. He says, "You want it for $20?" I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Military Comics number 31. I think that's a Al Bryant cover, but it's really cool. Remember, this is during the war because after the war, the title changed to Modern Comics. So that is the haul. Yeah, would have been nice to have found an ASM 300, but doesn't always happen that way. So I did pick up some fun books and some good PC books, so that's going to do it for me today. I'd like to thank you for stopping by. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.